Hello guys, for our linguistics students. Yes, in your cheat, the first topic is about the language properties. And first, before we start with the language properties, let us discuss the definition of linguistics. The traditional definition of linguistics is that it's the scientific study of language. This is the traditional definition. But we can say that linguistics is everything and anything related to language, as we said before. Language properties, I will discuss them in this video before I discuss, because I discussed them before in details, but in this video I will discuss them in very brief and with the precise definitions for each property. The first property that you have is that the language it has displacement. What is displacement? What we really mean by displacement? Displacement means that you can talk about the future, something in the future, far future, near future, and you can discuss about the past. You can talk about the past and about the space, something in the space, the moon, the sun. So the human language has these properties that any means of communication has this property. So there is no animal or any insect can talk about the past and the future. No way. So displacement means you can talk about the past, the future. So you can talk about the past, the future, the space. This is the first property. Okay? The second property is that arbitrariness. Arbitrariness means that there is no natural connection between a linguistic form and its meaning, which means that there is no connection between the word cat, and this creature, which is that hard four-legged creature. So there's no precise connection between them. Why we call it cat in the first place? You can't explain this. Why we call it dog? D-O, D-O, O, and G. Why we call it dog? Why we call it dog in the first? You can't explain this. You know that. So this is arbitrariness. There is no clear-cut connection between the form or the linguistic form and its meaning, the meaning between the object and the name. But there's words that explains the sounds. Okay, arbitrariness. There is no connection. There is no connection between linguistic form and its meaning. Okay, this is the second property. The third property in language is that productivity, something to produce and reproduce again and again. And we know that languages are productive in its own nature. Means that from each noun you can produce a verb and an adjective and a verb and so on and so forth, and vice versa. So you can create new words out of nouns, create new words out of the verb. Yes, and we have lots of examples here in the cheat that discuss productivity. You know that, for example, we have the word love. It can be lovely, lovable. This is productivity in its own, especially in its what we call it in linguistics, or in linguistic terms, the derivational morphology. Yes, the nature in its own has this property. It can produce new words out of the current words. Okay. Okay. And we have the duality, which is for me, it's the must, and the most important property in a human language. And it's amazing when you discover it, when the linguists discover this property. It's an amazing one. Yeah, you will say, subhanallah, that the human language, or each human language, has this property. Subhanallah. Duality means the duality between, it's two things, between this dualation, you can say it, or this duo between the sound, or the sounds of this language, and the words that produces sentences and phrases. Started from the words, sentences and phrases. For example, we will start with the English language. English language has 45 sounds, standardization varieties, and also the local accents and dialects. I'm talking about the English. English, for each and every standard English, which is whatever it is, RP or British standard or American standard or Canadian standards, or even the New Zealand standard English and Indian standard English. All of these standardizations have 45 sounds, which is phonemes. Okay? Phonemes or sound segments. There are 45. These 45 produces unlimited numbers of words, phrases, and sentences, especially words and phrases and sentences. For each new word that come up to English, it is a new word, but it is not new in its own sounds. You know that? So, the duality between sounds, which is limited, you can count it, it's counted or countable sounds, phonemes, and these sounds produces unlimited or uncountable stretch of words and sentences. There is endless. So these limited sounds produce a lot of new words and sentences and phrases. So duality is very important. Duality between phonemes and words, that produces between two things, something limited, something unlimited. This limited thing produces a lots of or endless words and sentences and phrases. You know that? So this is the duality, you know. And you have in this is the main properties actually. But in the fourth one, I started with the fourth with the duality, but in the fourth one in your cheat is that the cultural transmission. Yes, he said that we acquire language in culture with other speakers and not from foreign genes. An infant born to Korean parents in Korean, some cultural transmission, transmission between two cultures. This is a properties that animals or other creatures don't have. So we have replacement, which is to talk about the future, the past, space, and you have arbitrariness. There is no connection between the object or the linguistic form and its meaning. And you have The third one is productivity. Is productive in its own nature. For example, the revisional morphology for this language, and you have the duality, which is the what's amazing one, and also we have cultural transmission. This is your first lesson, you guys, in your own sheet. It's very important and it's very unique. Thank you guys for listening.